Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Disney just keeps on losing. They are having a heck of a time holding on to their executives. They're all jumping ship for other platforms. We've got an update on the situation with the YouTube lawsuit. Remember, Disney was going to sue YouTube, trying to keep this guy from jumping ship from Disney to YouTube. And apparently that didn't work out. The court said that Disney isn't going to win its lawsuit, that YouTube poached this Justin Connolly guy. And also, Netflix just nabbed Disney's Vancouver animation chief. This is a guy who was in charge of Moana 2.
Wow. This is, so everybody's coming. They're like, this is funny. So YouTube and Netflix are bigger than Disney when it comes to streaming and everything else. And they're just coming and nabbing other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. They're going to sue Netflix too now and say that, because he had a deal, he can't go there.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for it. But yeah, it's a very interesting situation. So we're gonna take a look at both these stories, and I think a lot of people are just jumping ship. They're not sure of the future of the company. We've got changing of the guard here. Eventually,
well, also if you're going to be told you're going to be in trouble,
yeah.
If you're not allowed to go anyplace else, if you'll be in trouble. Of course, you're not going to want to stay there.
Yeah, Disney, I can tell you, they're very territorial of their people. Like, you're supposed to basically wait around for the phone to ring, but you're not supposed to go anywhere else. And this was very true even in Walt's day. Like, he viewed even certain actors as being part of the Disney family, and if they went to work for a rival studio, he'd get a little upset. But they're like, hey, you're not calling me, so I got to do what I got to do.
They can't sit around till you call them again, right?
Right. So before you get to it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo. So
let's go back to the YouTube lawsuit. We've been talking about this. You actually talked about it in a video. And for those of you who don't know, basically Disney sued YouTube. They claimed that YouTube poached this guy because this guy apparently was, going back and forth between Disney and YouTube, and they were going to sue. They said, it's he had a non-compete. He's not allowed to work for YouTube, and the judge said, nah.
Well, yeah, but what they wanted was either he had to come back to Disney and for his contract, which then they could turn around and fire him if they wanted to.
Yeah,
and then he couldn't go anywhere. Or he had to agree to not work for was it YouTube? He wasn't allowed to work for YouTube. Wasn't allowed to work for anybody. Just until his non-compete was over. And it's like, this isn't no.
Yeah, I get they're just trying to tangle it up in courts. Like, they don't want the guy either because they probably view him as a traitor, but they don't want YouTube to have him either because it is going to compete because his area of expertise is sports.
Now, he himself is staying out of the renewal because Disney wanted to renew with YouTube after he knew the guy was leaving. They wanted it pushed up, but he made sure he excused himself from any discussion, and YouTube said that he is not anywhere near working on Disney's renewal, so there's no conflict of interest. And they're still being little bitches about it.
Yeah, this is really petty on their part, but this shows just how important sports are to their streaming business, right?
Well, I'm so glad they keep raising prices on their streaming services and the parks so that we can pay for all these frivolous lawsuits they keep getting their asses into.
Well, if he had, I guess he can he countersue or something? If he's got Disney
I think
Plus,
he was going to, I don't know if he will, but I would have, but maybe it's better to let sleeping dogs lie and just move on. I don't know.
So here's the story. This is the update according to the Hollywood Reporter. Disney's bid to temporarily block YouTube's hiring of Justin Connolly in a newly created role as global head of media and sports has been denied. LA Superior Court Judge James Chalfant on Wednesday concluded Disney is unlikely to prevail on claims that YouTube illegally poached Connolly in violation of his contract with the entertainment giant. Last month, Disney filed a lawsuit faulting YouTube for Connolly's defection to YouTube to spearhead its media and sports division, saw a temporary restraining order to prevent him from starting at the Google-owned company, claiming he could, not they did, he could potentially leak confidential information or trade secrets.
It's in a contract. He's not allowed to leak that. Even the contract YouTube had given him said that they will not expect him to tell them anything, and he's not allowed to tell them anything. And that was in the contract.
Let me just put this in perspective. Disney, I think you're overestimating your trade secrets. YouTube is way the fuck bigger than you are in terms of streaming.
And a lot of your
YouTube is
secrets
way
came out
better.
with that hack anyway. So
A lot of look, I think Disney, because this goes back. It was almost 10 years ago. They bought Maker Studios, and I think they bought Maker Studios to try to reverse engineer YouTube. And if
they've
they
been
couldn't
trying
control,
for years. They've
been trying to. And they were looking at one point in time, they were going to buy Twitter, and they didn't do that. They said it was too toxic. It would taint the Disney brand. So they've been looking to do this for a while. I guarantee you, if they had the same opportunity to poach somebody from YouTube to come into Disney Plus and show them how it's done, they would do it. Absolutely.
Well, they aren't. It's because reputation isn't great.
Yeah, right. So in the court filing, YouTube argued that the order Disney seeks for Connolly to return to the company against his will or quit his new position is prohibited under California law. It stressed that
I would
Disney,
say California, especially, you're not going to go.
oh yeah, California is like really strict about this stuff. It stressed that Disney knew for over 6 weeks he intended to leave Disney to join YouTube, meaning there's no emergency for the court to issue a temporary restraining order. Connolly's been working for YouTube for roughly 2 weeks. So they said Disney maintained Connolly couldn't work for YouTube because he had a 3-year fixed term contract that hadn't expired.
Right. And in the contract, they could fire him for any reason, but he wasn't allowed to leave, basically.
Yeah.
Is what they're trying to argue.
This kind of sort of happened to me on a much, much smaller scale. Back in the, God, it was a long time ago. It was
Was this a radio station?
The radio station. Yeah. I used to work for Clear Channel. And at the time, my position was, now I worked as DJ, but for another radio station. For Clear Channel, I was a web developer for them when they were building websites for all their radio stations. And long story short, I left. Okay. And they told me that I wasn't allowed to do web development anywhere within like 50 miles of a Clear Channel radio station. Well, the problem is Clear Channel is like the Walmart of radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over the damn country. They're all over the world. So good luck finding an area with no Clear Channel. They were basically like, yeah, you're not allowed to work anywhere, do anything related to this for the next like 6 months or some stupid. And I was a kid. I was young. I was in my 20s. And they had me talking to their lawyer and like, you can't go away with trade secret. I'm like, bitch, what trade secrets? I'm the guy who was making the websites. Asshole.
Yeah,
like you guys weren't even doing
secrets,
any of that. Yeah, that was what, I mean, that was what made me really mad. It was like, what fucking trade secrets? Like I was like one of the first guys at the company to start building websites. And you hired me specifically to build websites because I knew how to build them. This would have been the late 90s. I knew how to build websites. You didn't know how to build websites. And you're going to threaten me with the whole trade secret thing. Like, what trade secrets? You have a shitty radio station, a bunch of shitty radio stations. Anyway, yeah, so that was very similar. They were basically just afraid I was going to go to the competition and do the same thing, which I didn't do. And I should have. But I was a kid, and I was, oh my God, a lawyer. I've never talked to a lawyer before. I'm so scared. And then now I'm just like, another lawyer. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, at this point now,
one of mine. Bye.
Yeah, which one should I call? Well, this guy does this and she does this and they do that. Yeah. Talk to my fucking lawyers. Lawyers, plural. Anyway, you learn as you get older. So it didn't go very far. So this isn't the only poaching. Netflix poached this guy. This is a guy who's in charge of the Canadian Disney studio.
Mm-hmm. The one that was doing really well, and they were going to start shifting a bunch of stuff over there.
Yeah,
they nabbed this person.
So yeah, this is coming from Cartoon Brew. Netflix nabs Disney Animation Vancouver chief is it Amir Nasrabadi for key animation COO role.
Oh, so COO. So that's probably much better. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're just grabbing all your people, aren't they?
Yep. So he's coming to Netflix from Disney, where he had been the head of Walt Disney Animation Studios Vancouver since 2021. That was the one they kind of built in secret. It
was out there. They had talked about it, but they didn't talk about it much.
No, and a lot of a lot of folks in Burbank didn't know about it. And
yeah, like, they had talked. It was out there. They just apparently weren't paying attention.
So yeah, Disney's Canadian satellite initially set up to produce content such as the Moana animated series, participated in the production of Moana 2, which last fall became the third highest grossing Disney animation studio production of all time. And they just nabbed the guy in charge.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to make him a chief operations officer.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Why isn't he staying with Disney?
Well, I think here's the thing too. When it comes, and I mentioned this in the video, when it comes to these people, well, they're both dudes for one, and it probably gets to a place where you can't go any higher because you don't have the right boxes.
Yeah.
To go any higher, possible. And then so you're like, well, I'm a dude, and I'm probably going to go any further because they're really pushing women. I'm not saying that's what's going on 100%. I'm saying that could possibly be one of the problems because they had the other guy, that Project Veritas, I got to talk to, and he's like basically your guy. You get to a certain point, forget it. It could be that he wasn't going to get these opportunities, so he has a chance. And obviously, if someone comes to you and they want to give you a better job with better title and better pay, a lot of people, the way you get a better job is if you leave to go to another company because they get used to you being there and they won't give you what you want.
That is true. And I've actually heard that, and I'm gonna give you a little job advice, a little unsolicited career advice. Sometimes the only way you get a promotion is to leave your organization.
And that might be the case here.
Yeah.
But whatever it was, both people were given a better title and a better job that they felt that was more of a better fit for them. And unfortunately, Disney's losing people. And for the one person, they tried to go after them legally. I don't know if they'll go this far again with Netflix after the black eye they got over at YouTube, but who the hell knows? They're not very smart.
So he's apparently he's been in Vancouver for a while. He's going to relocate to LA. But this is interesting too, because Netflix has 900 people across 3 studios. They have one in Burbank, which we knew about, Vancouver, and Sydney, Australia. And this guy is based in Vancouver, but he's going to apparently move to LA. But I could totally see Netflix if they're going to, remember they bought that campus and that whole thing. Like they're like, everything's animation. They're like, well, no, it's not. We're going to cancel. Yeah. Okay. Everything's animation again, guys. Like, what are you doing? I can almost guarantee you that they're going to set up shop around the world to do things cheaper.
Oh yeah. So was Disney. That's, that was the thing. They're outsourcing crap too. But to be fair, I know for a fact they used to outsource all kinds of stuff. So that's not new for them.
So he worked, Pixar Vancouver, and he's been at Disney. He's been all over the place. Paramount, Illumination, Wild Brain, yada, yada, yada. It's just very interesting, though, that this is interesting. There's a comment here. Very interesting that a lot of these people are leaving Disney now. Mm-hmm. This guy, now this is Ninja, this is Cartoon Brew, and this, we have a lot of people from the animation industry to comment. And this guy's, my name is Rio Al or Rio AI. Okay, whatever. Disney culture basically promotes that you better get out of here. We'll kick you out senseless. Only cry like a baby over lost marbles. It's not the first time that Netflix got on a spending spree to ramp up their animation business. Yeah. On to scale back. Yeah, it's true. I mean, we talked about that. They were going to buy this,
yes.
Yeah, the animation campus and all that. And they said that Damar will probably be Chapoopy 2.0. Yeah, probably. I mean, I think a lot of people are looking at the writing on the wall and they're probably like, okay, they're cutting back on spending. And we don't know who's going to be the CEO. And we don't know what the future is going to look like. And they're pushing a lot of stuff that, especially in the animation space now, they're like, yeah, we're just going to push it to theatrical now. We're not going to do it on streaming. So it might
and then like if you bomb anything's bombed, they're like getting rid of you. I mean, look what they did to all the people that worked on Inside Out too. They got rid of a bunch of them, and then they wouldn't even, because they got fired, they weren't even allowed to have bonuses. If they waited, they got all done with it, then they got rid of them, so they didn't have to give them bonuses. Like Disney, it's not getting a reputation with people. It doesn't have a reputation like it used to have.
No, and its reputation even 20 years ago when it came to working conditions were not great.
No, and it's gotten worse apparently. But
it's gotten worse. But
people were willing to jump ship.
That the Pixar situation, that was insane because some of the people they got rid of were like there for decades. And I know the one lady they fired, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she was the one that saved Toy Story 2, and they still fired her.
Yeah, well, they also were the ones that are the brain trust behind Lightyear and crap too.
Yeah, so, yeah. Well, that's what they're going to use. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you're making corporate content, like you're only as good as your last hit, right?
Well, it's not just corporate. If you're making content that was like pushing narratives and crap, then it's not going to do well. And then they're going to say, even if the corporation told you to do it, they're going to blame you instead of taking the responsibility for it.
That's okay. You'll all be replaced with AI in about 5 years anyway, so nobody has to worry about getting fired anymore because nobody's going to get hired. No, I don't think it's going to be that bad. But I wonder if that's what they're going to be looking at though with Netflix, is they're going to go into that more because they're doing like AI commercials and shit now too. So I can totally see them doing that.
Probably
AI Shira. Oh my god, more AI.
But
Shira.
if you're a COO, you're going to be likely to stay longer than somebody who's a grunt. So.
Bosses will be there for a while. Directors, writers, they'll be there for a while. Grunts, not so much. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.